All right, you ready to try apricot carrot muffins? Good. Let me just start off by saying, this is my little asterisk disclaimer. If you're not accustomed to having baked goods with no sugar added to them, then you're going to find this recipe to be bland. I did. I admit it. I think that these are just a little bland, but I don't think it's the recipe's fault. I think it's my fault in that I am accustomed to sweet muffins, okay? So not overly sweet muffins. I think that, I'm learning to decrease the sugar more and more every time I bake, but I'm not to that point where I could just have sugar-free food. You know what I'm saying? And now technically this isn't sugar-free because we're going to use fruit puree. I blended up some apricots with some water and kind of made an apricot jam, a fresh jam, and I thought, that should be sweet enough and it should work here. And so I tried it, and these are good, but they're good in a sugar-free sort of way. You know what I'm saying? Get out your pen and paper. Okay, in a large mixing bowl, I want you to add 3/4 cup of non-dairy milk, and then 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree, 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed that I always keep in the freezer. This is the egg substitute. And to that, 3 tablespoons of water. Whisk that together. And then remember to add 2/3 cup of fresh apricot puree, or fresh apricot jam, I like to say. I'm starting something new. I'm calling it jam, fresh jam. And be sure to stick your finger in it. That'll help make it sweeter. I did. It helped a lot. Okay, now whisk that together and set the bowl aside so that the flaxseed has a chance to get all gelatinous. Okay, here's me painstakingly shredding carrots. I'm in the midst of moving, in the middle of moving, and I packed my grater. And so, that was dumb. And so I had to sit here and just finely chop two small carrots. It was a pain. Okay, back to the bowl. So add those carrots. And while you're doing all this, be sure to heat the oven to 400 degrees. Okay, now we're going to add 2 cups of flour. I used whole wheat pastry flour. And then add 1 tablespoon of aluminum-free baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, or salt, whatever you like, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and just of cloves, ground cloves. Now, I'll just tell you right now, you saw me put 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon in there. Go ahead and put 2. I think it needed an extra teaspoon. And then just mix that together. And I wanted to show you that it does look dry. I mean, it looks like there's not enough moisture in this batter, but just be patient because the wet ingredients will absorb all the flour. And you see, I'm really not trying to stir it. I'm trying to fold everything in and just give the wet ingredients a chance to absorb the dry. And before you know it, it's absorbed, and then I can move on. Now, I'm trying to be completely oil-free here, so guess what? I went out to the kitchen store and I coughed up for 2 of these silicone baking mat pan things. Do you call them pans if they're not made out of metal? I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. I did not oil these, and I just got out my little 2-inch scooper, or however big that is, and I used that to evenly distribute the batter amongst the little muffin cups here. And I bought 2 of them because, 6 muffins is never enough. Okay, and after I filled 2 of them, did you see that? I still had a little bit of batter left over, so I just kind of divided that last little bit up and added it to, some of them, to the rest of them, like you do. All right, it's dance time. You ready? I'm so silly. Okay, so 20 minutes in the oven and I get this, okay? And like I said, I couldn't help it. I got to have a little more sugar on this. I had already tried one. You see there's one missing? So I coated it with maple syrup. And look at that. Aren't they cute? And it actually, the maple syrup stayed shiny on the muffin. So it actually, you know, helped to have kept them from looking dull. Anyways, they're good. And we are eating them. I promise we're eating them. We're getting used to them. First bite, you're going to go, there's nothing here. But give it time. And this morning, the next day, oh, sorry about that. The next day, I watch this when you're watching it. That's how I know what to say when. The next day, they're actually better this morning than they were yesterday. So there you go. All right. Give this recipe a try. If you are not ready to go sugar-free, then go ahead and add maybe a 1/4 cup of your favorite sweetener, your or some sort of granulated sugar to this, and this will help, you know, get everybody introduced to the recipe. So if I already know hubbies and kids, you know, if they're not used to eating sugar-free, then they are not going to dig this recipe. So go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. For everybody else, just try it like it is and let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye.